Hey guys, what's up? Sorry for the late start. We should be doing a watch along for the Zagreb meet, the Continental Tour, but for some reason, I can't seem to get it on any of the streams. So FlowTrack here in the United States suggested that, well, they're displaying that it should start at 12 p.m. Eastern, and it's now 9 minutes after the hour, and no stream yet. So I'm not quite sure what's going on. The meet is in progress. We had some results this morning. Fabulous results from the men's discus throw. I can get to that in a second, showcase some of that stuff. But uh, that was a ridiculous throw there from Kristen Che this morning. There was high jump yesterday, and a couple of days ago we saw the men's shot put. But I'm not quite, and the triple jump went through, but it's on the start list for the 400-meter hurdle should be coming up next, but nothing yet. I don't know. So I'm not quite sure. Let me just show the results from today's performance from Che. That's what 72.34. That's a ridiculous throw. That moves him way up on the all-time list right now. Well, not way up on the all-time list. He was already sixth, but with a bunch of guys like Daniel Stahl, I think, and the URS Russia Soviet Union athlete there from back in the day, and so he's now joined. He's six by himself right now. Only Gerd Kanter, Alekna Schultz, Mathieu Denny, and Mikola Sanelka as well, as we all know with the world record. So that was a fabulous throw from him. There's a couple other interesting stuff that happened already. I didn't get to see any of this, so I'm just giving results from that level. I think Shanieka Ricketts from Jamaica won the triple jump in 14.54. Decent jump from her. That seems like she did that on the last round anyway, on round 6. So she's been having a good season. She won last week as well so far. So let's see what happens there. Diamond League tomorrow in Rabbat. Looking forward to that. Let's see the Toboga there, Wanyone, Wade Van Niekerk running. Want to see what we get from Quincy Hall as well. He's there after opening up, what was it, last week? Really, really slow, but he's been coming off an injury as well. So I don't know. I'm waiting to see when they'll switch over to this stream here. Currently, there's no live streams for this event, so I don't know. Maybe we won't have a watch along. Hey Debbie, what's going on? Yeah, it's I'm hoping to watch some track and field, but I'm not seeing any of that right now. So who knows? Yeah. But hopefully they switch over to this thing because Julian Alfred is running today, and I want to see that. That should be spectacular as well. But yeah, nothing so far, at least from FlowTrack. So I don't know if the world feed is giving issue, but or someone didn't get paid today. And so it's just suggesting that it should have started at noon, but it's now 12 minutes after the hour and nothing. Yeah. Interesting stuff. Yeah. So we could go back to earlier this week. Topic 1 in the high jump in 194. Good to see Lamar Diston back as well. She got a silver medal. She picked up a second place performance as well. Yeah, but not much to talk about. Today was the events that we would anticipate, and there's supposed to be some good stuff here on show, especially women's 200 meters. Was looking forward to that. But at the moment, I can't see anything. So. And if you want to talk about anything else, we can do that. Last week, I don't know, as many of you would have seen, hopefully saw the results. The announcement, rather, Munjinga Kambunji is out for the rest of the season and maybe for parts of next year. She is she's pregnant. So last week when we saw her at the Doha meet finishing way down the track, I was like wondering what was happening there, and now we know. Yeah. It's going. Julian is coming in with a world new lead. Let's see. I haven't even thought about that. How fast you think she will go today? What is it? She's already gone what 21.8 for the season. It should be a fabulous race. Uh, Competition isn't really there. It's just her by herself. I mean, there is a Spanish athlete there that did well on their relay, best two, but for the most part, I think it's Julian Alfred and the clock. Nothing else. I don't anticipate. Let's see. I'm just checking to see. The stream looks like it's here. Okay, let's see. Much better now. So that way we know what's going on. Let me try to get it up here as well. Yeah, so all right. So now I'm able to watch some track and field, so that's good. And anything else you want to talk about? We could talk about stuff from last week, NCAA stuff, all of that kind of thing. Talk about Diamond League tomorrow as well. I'm all good for that. But I hope they'll show a little recap of this discuss because I'd like to see the throw from Kristen Shea. The men's discuss really interesting space. A lot of guys who can do some good stuff. I think they're showing women's javelin at the moment right now. That's the event in progress. As you know, this is a continental league, so it's not going to bring all of the world-class stars. They don't have the kind of payout structure, the money. You get a one or two big athletes here. And the Zagreb beat on calendar historically has always been one of the great ones. You get a few good stars showing up. Yeah. Yeah, I got it now. It's on it. Flow Track is showing it now, Courtney. It took me a while before they started the stream, so now I'm seeing it. Yeah. Yeah. So let's see. So I think the long jump is also in progress too. There's Wayne Pinnock. So a bunch of Jamaicans are here. There will be women's 400 hurdles, but I'm just checking the list here. There's nothing here. I don't anticipate that to be very quick either. The 100 meter should be interesting. The young South African is there, Walaza, lots of talent, also a lot of technical deficiencies with his running, but I suspect they'll sort that out in time. It's good to see him on the circuit. I guess he's just full blown professional at this stage. They're just introducing the long jump guys right now. I think most people here are just looking for this Julian Alfred thing. I don't want to bring a downer here, but it is a continental tour, so it doesn't always get the greatest athletes. But there's some good athletes here. The 1500 should be good. There's Gudaf Tsegay. She's trending down again after what wasn't a great season last year. Also, Berkey Halem is there as well, so that should be a good run there. A couple of Ethiopians or a few more Ethiopians there. The Irish woman, I think, is also in the race. So yeah, Adele Tracy from Jamaica, if you're interested. Yeah. And let's see. And anybody going to the Philly Grand Slam? I'm not sure. I just you guys saw that they reduced the days to 3 days, or did we talk about it on the last live? I'm not even sure. I suspect They had to do that because ticket sales. Just taking a look at Wayne Pinnock here. He's probably all the money was spent to bring him here, probably. Yeah. All right, so they're going to run the 100 meters right now. Yes. Let's see what we get from Walaza here. So it's Hilton from the United States. I gotta be honest, some of these guys I have no idea who they are. There's Elijah Hall, I know him. Yeah. Yeah. All these guys outside of Walaza, Hall, they have, and the Cuban guy, Menya, they haven't cracked only if any, they haven't cracked any runs this season, so it's hard to say. Yeah. And no official runs. Yeah. What's going on, Ferdinand? Yeah. Yeah, I see Walaza here. Hopefully he'll do some good running. I like the kid. He's 19. I'm still not sure where his ceiling is in terms of what we should expect from him. He looks like he's putting on some muscular structure, but that arm is wild when he runs. Yeah. So Hall and Wallace has registered runs this year. The rest of the guys, at least on the start list, I haven't seen anything from them. So it's hard to know what we'll get. Yeah. Let's see. They're gonna go in the blocks right now. Camera panned on Ansa, the German guy. He's done 999 before, I think, but nothing this season. Yeah, I think that's interesting. He has to test himself, right? I like the kid. I think he's good. I just think technically they have to work on a lot of stuff. Let's see what he looks like today, though. It's a clean start there, and he's already all the way gone. Walaza, he's like it's like 4 meters, 5 meters. 996 is the unofficial time here. If he can run 996 doing this kind of stuff, imagine when they fix it. So 994 is the official time. PB for Walaza here. It's pretty good. It's a really good run for the kid. I'm trying to see. They haven't put up the official results yet. I'll share it in a second, but 994 official for him. I didn't catch a win reading. Let's see. Yeah, I got it here. Let me get that up. So yeah, as Ferdinand pointed out, Walaza in his first official race outside of the continent into a headwind of minus of point 0.3 headwind rather, or a minus point 0.3 wind. 9.94, utterly outclassed the rest of the guys with that style of running, which is a bit wild. Yeah, yeah, big PB for him too, right? That's pretty good. He's trending down, and that's a good thing. And I'm looking at him again, and he looks like he's putting on some muscle right now, which is to be expected. He's only 19. He got a really good start, but by the time he's into his acceleration, he's just like that head movement, one arm going to the next way. It's it's just not an efficient type of running style that you would want to see. Let's see. I mean, he was way out there. This angle is really nice. He shot out of the blocks really well, but he's just bouncing. It's like it's not an efficient running. He was really working hard. It doesn't seem as the relaxation is there at the final stages of the race, and you want to see this. Yeah. No, it's pretty good. Pretty good. 994 for the lad from South Africa. You must be proud of this. The South Africans are, I think, would be very dangerous this year again in the 4x1. Simbini is unbeaten all season as well. He's going really well, and you think about 4x4. I think the South Africans can also run for a medal there, along with the USA and Botswana on the men's side. The women are doing well too. You have Van Dijk. There's some interesting stuff happening on the continent by far, I think. Botswana too, we shouldn't count them out. They are really getting into different events, and it's really good stuff happening there. All right, so that's the 100 meters out of the books. Good way to start off, at least on the track for us. The javelin, as I mentioned, is in progress. We can get an update on that later on. Kolak is in the lead at 61.20, but it's not really big names there in the javelin. I think next on the track would be women's 400-meter hurdles. But again, it's not a high quality field in terms of who will be there. No, that actually happened already. I apologize. Sorry, that happened already. Yeah. All right. Oh, no, it didn't. It did happen, yeah. So next on the track is women's 400 meters or men's 400 meters, I think. Yeah, women's 400 meters. Just a quick shot of the long jump. Let me see what they have in progress so far. So only 2 jumps so far, 770 from Smith and flatness 769. So nothing big. Ooh, that's a decent jump there, but that's still in the 7 meters from Czechio. He's almost running backwards on this. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know these guys. I don't think these guys are really high quality outside of Pinnock here. So we shall see what we get there. So coming up next would be women's 400. Then what we all waiting for, Julian Alfred. And all right. Maudley is here from Ireland in the women's, and Sylvia, the athlete from Spain too, Sevilla. I don't know if she pronounces that way, but really good running in the world relays too. So this should be a good run. A few women here that's gone sub 51 and PB, but still early season. Some interesting bibs here, yeah. What's going on, Papi and Boss? How's it going? Just trying to watch this Continental tour. It's not super exciting yet. Decent run just now from the South African kid Walaza there. PB for him, 994 into a headwind. Women's 400 meters on track. And then we get to see the great Julian Alfred, who's you have to think in sensational form already for the season. Yeah. So Paula Sevilla there should take this at least on by time or standing. She's the best of the lot right now in the women's 400 meters. And then there's the Italian Rebecca Borgia. Papin Boss, and do you think she'll keep formed until September? I imagine so. I think it's a very good question. We haven't seen her in a couple of weeks, which suggests to me that they tested her out early. A lot of interesting background training, a lot more 400 this year. I think Coach Flo is trying to do a double, a 1-2 double for Alfred. That has to be the goal. So the 400 meters off here. Maudsley's making up a move there. I'm not trying. Where's the Spanish athlete? I'm not seeing her right now. Yeah, Sevilla there and is making steps now. I imagine so. I don't think they would play around with the season. She started at 300 meters there. She did that 200 at 21.8. Ran from some other stuff there over 400 meters or some relays, I think. Maudsley and Sevilla, they're like step by step. But it looks like Maz is gonna win, but there's another step there from Sevilla there again. So Sevilla is gonna win ahead of Malzi. 51.01, it looks like flash time. Yeah, I back to finish off the Alfred point. I don't think they'll mess around. She's young. She is probably has to come into the season and try to dominate. And so far, she looks good. Can people last until that point? I think that's what happens, right? You have to plan the season well. It can be done. It's a matter of when you bring them back and when you compete, when you decide to focus on more stuff on training. And Coach Flo is very good at these things, so I don't think I would worry right now. You're saying, call me crazy, but I think it's matriculating perfect for the Jamaicans to dominate come September. I don't know. I mean, I would hope. I think what you get is, and this is here's the thing. This is the part of track and field preparation that there's no answers for in terms of what's the right thing to do. Everyone, especially in a world championship year or an Olympic year, they look at the data of that and they think about planning a program in time to have the athletes to be at their very best at that point of the season. Well, at some point you have to be in very good shape to make a team, and you'll be in pretty much good shape like that. Question is, when you get them to top performance, how long can people hold that for? And that's where the agreement doesn't, there's no real agreement. Some people think you can hold a peak indefinitely with the right volume and intensity. Others think you can take them right back out of that and put and build them back up and time it in time for a championship. And then it goes down to the individual preparation of the athlete that you have uh, under your control, right? So it comes back to the question of their fitness, their health, and what that means for preparation and their experience. So experience also comes into play at some point in time. And I think that's what everyone's going to do. Let me just put a result there for the 400 meters that just happened right now. Yeah, that was. You have to be ready. I think that will happen for most athletes. And unless there's like major setback, I think if you're an older athlete, if you're an athlete that's much more experienced, you can play the season differently. Also, you have to remember athletes also compete to earn a living, some more so than others. Some are fortunate enough to have partnerships with companies that will allow them to supplement income in ways that others may not be able to do. And so people race more frequently or based on that. There's the variation on that as well. I think the athletes also with buys into the World Championships tend to be much more cautious in terms of how they plan their season, especially as they get older. We saw last week Noah Lyles pulling out of the Adidas thing, with an injury, and he said it wasn't serious, so he's just taking it easy. We saw Richards open, Sha'Carri open that night as well, Sunday morning. Doesn't look like there's any real background work yet or just coming out of that, right? Even Kristen Coleman didn't look so great there in similar programs. I think a bulk or the vast majority of some athletes, especially those at the top, those with buys from the World Championships, or very senior athletes who have to think about their preparation. You think like a Fraser Price, she ran last week in Doha, tested the legs. She's the real exception here. Very, elder stateswoman. She would have to think about running more sparingly than anybody else because she has to be in great shape to try and make a Jamaica national team. If she intends to run, there's no buys into the thing, and you wouldn't anticipate that she would run the whole season and try to qualify from a Diamond League final. That won't happen. So the long story here, I guess the too long to read thing is, it depends. I do hope that athletes are preparing well. The good thing about a season like this is that the Diamond League ends, the professional season ends prior to the World Championships. So the World Championships really is the culminating event. So it affords opportunity to plan your season properly, get probably a rest or two and sharpness, and find time for certain type of training, because travel components sometimes impact how athletes can consistently prepare and work or iron out things. So it would be good. It would be good. Ferdinand says, I think Walaza can go faster if pushed. Yeah, I don't know. By push, you mean in a race or push in terms of development? Because he's 19, so if he's running 994 right now at this age, and we saw him last year at the World Juniors, we saw him again on the circuit there in South Africa running at Euro Championships equivalent this year. I think there's a lot of upside for the lad, and he looks like he's living in the weight room a little bit. He's growing up. There's going to be setbacks. What I said a few weeks ago about him is ultimately, long term, I don't think he can, whatever his ceiling is, let me put it this way, whatever his ability to run, whether that's a 985, I don't know, whatever you would say would be his best, I am not sure you can get it out of him if he continues to run that way. Now, there's athletes historically that run the non-traditional way or ways that didn't look as efficient or technically sound, and they get away with it because it never really impacted their ability to run, right? You think about the classic example of Michael Johnson. Clyde Hart often said that he wasn't losing anything. It wasn't the most gracious of running. Graceful, it wasn't graceful rather, sorry. And but it didn't impact his performance, so there's no need to change. I suspect this is not a good thing. He's bumping a lot. The arm looks a little bit better today. I'd have to see it again, but he's just doing that, and he has to relax at some point. So I hope they can sort that out. Right now is the time to sort that out. If they can sort it out immediately, then his upside is more. But he's what, 19? He's gonna go to a World Championships this year. He's gonna run on a relay pool. He's gonna run individually as well. That's a lot of experience he's going to get. I think when you look at the Olympics that will come into in LA, that's where he should be. His sights should be set to take the next level if that's where he wants to be. And then cycles would have changed with a number of athletes too. Obviously, others can come in. So yeah, I hope they fix it though. I really hope they fix it. Let's see now. Big Car Key says, do you think Card will go sub 10? Gear Card, lots of talent. I imagine so. Julian Alfred here on screen. How old is he now? Is he 18 yet or still 17? Some injuries here and there. Super talented. It would have been great if he didn't got hurt in the semifinal at the Jamaica Championships there for high school athletes. Lots of talent. It's too early to say, but from what we saw, I think he was close. My guess is, and I'm only speculating, that if he was fit and healthy and he ran that 100-meter final, he would have probably broken the high school record again. So hopefully he just gets back. Yeah. Ferdinand Civil and Clark not in Philly. Yeah, Oblique Civil had that injury a week ago, and then Clark had that injury in the Miami Diamond League. So hopefully they're good. Yeah, replacements have been made already. Grand Slam, I think a couple of days ago announced the lineup for the Philly Slam. I can look into it. They did pull in some replacements already. I'll take a look at that in a second. I just want to see. Let's see what we got from Julian Alfred here. I'll try to find it for you in a second. I think Brian Level is gonna be in the 1-200. Andre DeGrasse, Kristen Coleman is gonna be there. Yeah. Zarnell Hughes, Miller as well. Kristen Miller is gonna be there. That kid. Yeah. So they brought that in. In the 400 hurdles, I'm not quite sure who they brought in yet. I did see it, but I don't remember off the top of my head. Let me focus a little bit on the Olympic champion, the Olympic silver medalist over 200 meters, the national hero from St. Lucia, Julian Alfred here. Oh, that's a quick set there. And they're off. Clean start there. And she's already up on them. Alfred is like, oh my, she's going to come off the curve ahead of everybody, probably 3 meters, it looks like. And she's just extending that lead, kind of really relaxing there and running really hard. Easy win for her in the end. Not as quick as I thought it would have been. It looks like flash time at 22:16 for Julian Alfred there, but comfortable. A training run, if you want to ask me. Let's see it again on my other screen. Yeah. Now, to answer your question earlier, I think this is the answer. They probably went back to training, and she's testing herself again. 22:15 to 22:91 from best two, the Spanish athlete, and Takas at 23:22. So really, really easy run. Let me just take a look at it again. Yeah, she got out in like 4 or 5 steps. She took up uh, the lead on the runner outside, and she not running the curve as hard as it looked. I thought she was, but this is like 3 meters, 4 meters, probably about 5 meters, 6 meters now, 10. Yeah. So she ran hard, and she also dipped at the line. I think she pushed herself somewhat, but not too hard. At the end, she wasn't really running. Yeah. Probably easy win for Julian Alfred, and it's good to have her at that meet. Let's see, where are we? I see if I can get that result up. It should be up by now. Yeah, let me put that up. So that's the official results. I'm running solo by myself, guys, so that's why. Yeah, Julian Alfred, 22:15, best two from Spain, who was only the one I think would have given her any kind of thing to look at. And yeah, and 22:92 there. So just a javelin here, Solak here. Oh, a little bit over 60. That's about 60 meters and change for Kolak. But I don't think that's going to make it to the top. Yeah, so good running there from Alfred. What was the wind? Also in a headwind, so it's into a negative wind there of 0.8. So good running from the Olympic 100-meter champion. There is 100-meter hurdles coming up too. There's Cartwright from the Bahamas. Alaysha Johnson's there from the United States. Just the kind of standouts there in terms of ability. Johnson's already run a 12:56 this season. Cartwright was having a good indoor season, at least at the start of it. Yeah. So that will come up next on the track. There's also a 110 that will feature the likes of Dylan Beard. His story is interesting. Omar McLeod is there, former Olympic and world champion. Hasn't been back to anywhere close to his best for a number of seasons. Trying to see who, Pascal Lagarde is still running. He's here. Hasn't run for the season, I don't think. So this is his opening run too. Yeah. So that's there. And I think the 5,000 meters for women, as I mentioned, should be really exciting. Yeah. Or is it? Yeah. Actually, I meant 1,500 actually. So I want to see what Gudaf Tsegay can do. Already at 3:53 this year, so maybe she's will run quicker, or she's saving herself later. She has to do a better season this year than last. Poor Olympics for her. And then there's a few 800 meters as well. I'm just scanning. Didn't do enough prep work today, so trying to see who's there. Nothing that notable. Sup, Jared? It's been a minute. How are you doing? Hi, Jared. All right. What are some good races going on today? Well, we just saw the Olympic champion run, Julian Alfred. There's some 1,500 meters here coming up. This is the Zagreb meet. I'm not sure if you're watching it. It's on FlowTrack. Let's see. Wayne Pinnock now is going to do his second jump, first round jump of 764. So nothing anywhere close to his level yet. Let's see what we'll get from him. Pinnock goes down the runway. Much better jump there, but still in the 7 meters there. Yeah. Might be bigger than the original. Let's see. 748 for Pinnock. It's not even as big as the first round jump. So not the levels that you'd anticipate him jumping. He should be jumping 8 meters in his sleep. So not enough speed on the runway yet, but who knows? We'll see what we get. I'm doing well, just trying to catch, do a little watch along here. Tomorrow's Diamond League. No, she ran 200 meters, so it was 22:15 for Alfred. Into a headwind. Yeah, they're just showing a shot of Alfred again. Yeah, must have been some training week. We saw her obviously a couple weeks ago, or more than that rather, and she ran that 300 meters, the 200. Probably did some good. Went back into training, and we'll see what we get from her at the end of the season. You'd have to think Alfred would look at this season coming up and say, "Look, I need to pick up a 100-meter world championship gold. Who knows? She might be going for this double." That has to be on our mind. Whether she can accomplish this is a totally different story. And shot here of Fabbri right now. Hold on. I thought I saw Fabbri in Doha this morning. Oh, this was a couple days ago. Yeah. Because I know I watched this already. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because Fabbri was doing the press conference this morning in Marrakesh rather, not Doha, Marrakesh. This was a shot put that had they're just showing clips of the shot put that happened a few days ago. Yeah, because this meet is like a 3-day meet, I guess. Yeah. Jared is asking, why do you think the long and triple jump records have been around for so long? Because they're very good. First, that's the number one thing. And you mean men, right? We can talk about women too, because that's been around for a long time until Ulamar got the and that was really good as well. Now, interesting question. I'm always intrigued by this, and I'll get to the rest of the comments in a second. I think long jump in general has had a decline in terms of having really consistently high jumps. Far jumps rather. I'm not saying there's some quality there. I like what I see with a few guys. Tentoglu has been brilliant. There was a British guy who won a couple of Olympic medals in years past. There's been a number of interesting stuff now. Forlani, I think, has a lot of ability. Athletes just are not jumping consistently well. So we went through, I would say, a 20-something year period where you could be on the medal podium in the 8.3s or win with 8.30s and something like that, which is not really something that should be happening. You get some big jumps. There's that big, there's Dwight Phillips many years ago. There was that big jump from Tajay Gayle in the 8.6s. I'm not sure. I think you have to want to do the long jump. I think there's a lot of athletes who don't want to do it. It's tough on the giants. It maybe doesn't get the level of prestige that you want. Maybe you need personalities in the jump as well. I don't think we're going to a Tokyo World Championships this year, and possibly long before your time, Jared, the 1991 World Championships and the fight between Carl Lewis, who in my mind is the greatest long jumper ever, and the world record holder Mike Powell. That was a fabulous night in Tokyo. There's been some huge jumps that we've seen, and I don't know if we'll ever get back to that level. But the record is way out there. You have to remember the record before Mike Powell broke it, and Carl tried to break. I think Carl went over the record a couple of times, but it was not a legal win. That happened in Mexico in '68. Bob Beamon, and utterly jumping across the world record, they had to bring out the tape for it because they had, at that point, they had some electronic measurement, but he jumped further than what they thought was humanly possible. So they couldn't even measure it with the Omega system in the Mexico Olympics. That's also in altitude. I don't know. So it's a tough thing. The triple jump is also very tough. And I thought, at some point, Christian Taylor would have broken it. There's a few other guys. But you go back to Gothenburg in 1995, and Jonathan just was in ridiculous form that night, and I remember it well. And, those 18 meters and change, they are out there. And to break those world records require luck as well. It requires the ability, but it also needs conditions to be right. And also to think those world records were also broken at a major championships, which also suggests that they're even tougher than you really think, because you have to go through a lot of intense competition. The 100-meter hurdles are on the track. I'll see. I'll get to that in a second. So clean start there, and Cartwright already taking the lead, but she clattered one of the hurdles. She's hitting all these hurdles, so she's losing her position. And Johnson took over, so Alaysha Johnson should win this. 12:82 the flash time. Cartwright was running really, really well, but she hit a lot of these hurdles. She may have finished third, I think. Waiting to see who got the second place. Kozak 12:88. So not particularly really fast running there, but decent. Yeah. Cartwright not even finishing in the top 3 right now. Yeah. All right. Let me get back to these comments. Hi everyone. Thanks for coming. Let me see what you're saying here. Jared, I think Shakara will defend her 100-meter world championship. I don't know. I mean, it's early. It's hard to. I can't. My prediction calculator don't come out this early. I saw her last week in Tokyo. She ran in the Olympic Stadium there at that Continental tour. Didn't look that great. Didn't look disinterested a little bit, but it's the first race, so there's nothing to really say. And she has a buy into the World Championship, so we'll judge her performances as it gets closer to the World Championships, I would say. I think it's much too early to say who can defend or who can win anything right now. It's just too early. And I honestly don't bet against Julian Alfred if she's in top form as well. I mean, Shakari, if she's in top form, will also be really, really competitive as well. So we'll see. Ferdinand, I love Gudaf Tsegay in my favorite 1500 meter. Yeah, I think we'll see what we get from her. I think Gudaf has a lot to prove this year. Not that she has to prove much, but a disappointing season last year. She already started with a good indoor season so far from Gudaf Tsegay. So I think when you think about her ability to run from 15 all the way up, it's a special athlete. I don't know how much longer she'll stay down at the 15, whether she'll eventually come off the track and go into marathon running. But I like her. I think she's a tremendous athlete there. So, it's been, yeah, good indoor so far. So I don't know what else to say about Gudaf, but I'll take a look. We can talk more about that in a second. Let me get back to some more of these comments here. Where is Jaden Hibbert? Good question. Someone was asking that the other day. I don't know the answer to this. At least I'll have to find out. I'm not sure if anybody else on the chat knows. He had struggled with some injuries recently. I'm just looking at Cartwright again. Cartwright came out really nice. If she can just hurdle a better, I think she'll be much better off. But she hit a few and lost her momentum there. But Johnson won comfortably in the end. Jared is saying, I'm going to the Grand Slam in Philly. Can I expect 9.6? 9.6 in what? In 90 meters or so? No, you shouldn't expect that. I'm happy that you're going to the Philly Grand Slam. Send us a picture when you get there. I won't be going though. No one's running 9.6. I don't think there's anybody capable of running 9.6 right now. Not on the circuit. Yeah, I don't know if you understand what 9.6 is, but 9.6 is a ridiculous time. I'm not sure anybody's capable of getting down to that level. Ferdinand said, I had privilege to see Jonathan Edwards perform live in South Africa. 18 minutes. Whoa, yeah. Edwards on it. You would have never thought that Jonathan Edwards is unassuming, but man, that night in Gothenburg was different level. What's up, Wayne? Wayne Jr. is definitely the favorite. Shakar is unpredictable, depends on how she feels. I would say we have to give the Olympic champion respect. There's no history to think about this. There's a history, obviously, but those data points we shouldn't really collect together. But usually, when an athlete wins a 100-meter title and they're fit and in good shape, and if they continue, when the World Championships comes around the next year, they find their way back on top of the podium. It happens a lot. It doesn't mean it will happen this time. But Alfred is a talented athlete. She's really quick. I like what I'm seeing from that extra running in the, for the background training this year has been different. And I wouldn't necessarily bet against her. I mean, there's a number of athletes that could get back into great shape, and maybe there are athletes that can come onto the scene this year that we may not anticipate running that fast. Who knows how quick you get from the Clayton sisters. But Alfred, if she's not hurt, if she's training well, she starts favorites. What do I like more? Who is it? Jared is saying, what do you like more, sprinting or? I like everything. I don't know. I think everything has its merit. Field events, I love a lot of field events. I've never really selected an event and say, yeah, that's the thing. But most people come into the sport of track and field as fans from the 100 meters or the sprint. That's usually how it works. But over time, you just like what you like. Oh, I'm now finally getting to see this Kristen Czech's throw. Whoa, that's real. Oh, that was sailing there. That was a ridiculous throw. As I mentioned at the top of the hour, that moves him all time to sixth position. All in the Bron. Not Ferdinand. Ferdinand is saying Juju not sleeping. Yeah, he replying to Jared. 72-34. That is our big throw there from Kristen. Discuss in a really healthy space on both men and women. It's a big throw. Let's see. And let me finish that point. Sha'Carri is unpredictable. I don't know. I mean, we could have said. I think we could say that prior to Budapest. In Budapest, she delivered, and then last year she was on the podium again. Just got an athlete that was in much better shape and more focus, I guess. So I guess if you're putting the predictability there, then it's an interesting thing. Yeah. No, I know what you're saying, Brandon, but in terms of the times, but I think yeah, I mean, I don't know how to process what you're saying there. I don't. Best times are one thing, but look, I mean, am I saying Richards is not a high? I think Richards is a top class athlete. I mean, we know that she was talented from she was at LSU. She had some setbacks. She's now starting to deliver on in a way that is important. She has a world title, so that's important. She has Olympic silver medal. There's a big thing there as well. I don't think we can call who can win right now. I don't know the answer to that. I mean, if I had to go right now, I would say Julian Alfred, but that's because she's been running faster than Richards has, and Richards just started to open up her season. But we don't know what we'll get in a few weeks' time, and certainly what we'll get in September. So I have to wait and see. Like many, right? You just don't know where athletes are at the moment, and I think for Sha'Carri, she's in a very comfortable position. And I think Julian is in the same kind of position as well because she runs for St. Lucia, so there's no competition to get to the World Championships. So I think they're in similar position in terms of thinking about what September might look like. For Sha'Carri, she has the buy into the World Championships. So she just has to create a season that is going to get her to be at her very best in September. She doesn't have to compete at the U.S. National Championships for a space for the 100 meters. She'll probably show up, run the 200 meters, I imagine. But she has the buy, so she's comfortable. She's very well paid when you think about endorsements. So again, she doesn't have to think what's happening, how she doesn't have to manage a season in a way where she's running for money, I think. Yeah, I think she has a talent. I mean, and she's trending in the right age too, so she should be fine. Wayne is saying, who do you think is running better, Jefferson or Tia Clayton? They gave Tia a league or world lead, but Melissa will beat some really good pros at Grand. Melissa looked good. I mean, I like what I saw, especially in Miami, and she's an athlete that has a good structure around her as well. The important thing is let's wait. U.S. Nationals. She's been having a great season. I think for Clayton, the Clayton twins are going to be fine. They're younger. They're also, I mean, obviously one of them have been in an Olympic final too, so there's a little bit more experience for one of the sisters. I think they'll be fine. I think they're also gonna be sure they'll be in great shape. I think it's hard to say who's having a better season. I just don't think uh it's a good start here from Beard. Oh, some people crashing into hurdles there. So Beard ahead. Then he's hitting hurdles now. McLeod is trying to get back into it, but he's not gonna be there. So Dylan Beard there in 13:22 ahead of comfortably ahead of Omar McLeod, who wasn't hurdling well, I don't think. 13:20 is the official time. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what to make of how to say who's having a better season. I don't think you judge who's having a better season just off of that kind of just times like that right now. Yeah, wherever they need to be is an interesting question. I think as the Diamond League progresses, as the season progresses, we'll start to see athletes running different times. And I wouldn't discount the race as well in Doha. The Doha field was decent. I mean, there's Fraser Price there. We knew she was just coming back there. Kambunji was in the race, even though she wasn't in any shape to run because she was pregnant, clearly, as we know now. But it was a tough field as well, and you travel, and the travel time you have to think about as well. Yeah, I could give you points on both. And I think the diamond, the field at Grand Slam for 100 was also decent, but you know, yeah. Wayne Shakar was just lucky in Budapest. She was in lane 9. Now, you know, when I get what you're saying. The challenge with that is she won, right? So I know there's a theory or argument being made that, especially she was in the queue room, obviously. She got in by fastest time, and there's this argument that Dennis spoke to her and she focused and no one was beside her, so she ran comfortable. It's a bit harsh to make it when you win, right? That's how I think about it, right? Luck would be if Jackson and Fraser Price had like pull up or something like that, right? You know, then you would be like, okay, you're lucky to win because the other favorites were injured. So that's how I would think about it. You just can't, right? She focused for that race and she won. Was it better for her to be out in lane 1 or in lane 9 rather, or in the middle of the track because she could just focus on herself? Now, that's an interesting question. We can tackle that, you know, perhaps she may have said that or people are attributing that, but it worked, right? So I don't, I think we get into kind of gray areas, or not gray areas, but we get into challenging ways of defending an argument when the person actually won and ran a really good time as well, right? So it's it's one of those things. I understand what you're saying, but and then if we compare like Paris run, then it makes a we could see what you're saying there, but it's a hard argument to make though. Brandon is saying she ran a perfect race from lane 9. It's not easy for running from lane 9. It's interesting you say that, Brandon. Some athletes actually do like the outside stuff because they can focus. We've seen some really great running out of outside lanes to the world record in the 400 meters from Van Niekerk. Yeah, it depends, right? I think it depends. Yeah. When saying she's an emotional athlete, depends on how she feels in her head is what I meant earlier. I get what you're saying. Yeah, I think a lot of athletes are like that, but we have to think that she's I don't want to be harsh on the athlete. She's been through some interesting stuff, you know. Uh she But the last couple of years has been in good space for her, right? Medals, gold medals, relay medals. Life seems to be good. Big endorsement. it's up to her to define what she'll do leading into a home Olympics, I imagine, right? You could do all of the best preparation, but there are other people might take things from you. The key thing is that you focus on yourself, and if she does that, then she should be fine. Yeah, yeah. Papina can't show that on screen. Will you be online during Rabbat tomorrow? I want to do the watch along for Rabbat, but I'm not 100% sure. I gotta make an airport run. My wife is coming back, and I didn't want her to take the shuttle, so I'll go pick her up. So it depends on how it works. I haven't put out a thing yet, but I want to do a watch along for that as well. That should be a good. Robert tomorrow should be really good tomorrow. I think. I want to see what Wanyoni will do. You know, he to me is ready for a world record run this year. That should be really, really good stuff. It's a home event for El Bakali, who is coming off an injury. So I'm not quite sure what we'll get from Soufiane El Bakali, but he's at home. Femke Bol will be there. She has a different season preparation this year for Femke. Didn't do a lot of indoor running as she usually did the last few seasons. So we'll see what we get from her. I think she'll be in great shape. She's probably going to try and drop a world lead. I don't know if she will. She'll probably look at what Sydney did last couple of weeks ago. But it should be good competition in that race. There's Rochelle Clayton there as well from Jamaica. So we'll see what we get. I'm looking forward to that. I think the pole vault will be nice. Molly Caudry's there. Katie Moon, Olympic silver medalist, former Olympic gold medalist as well. That should be a good event. I think Marrakesh has done a good job. Who else? Hermish Carr is there from New Zealand for the high jump. I'm just trying to remember off the top of my head. So it should be good. I mean, and let's see Litaboga, obviously. I think he's doing the 1 and the 200 meters as well. So he's never done that. I want to see what we get in the 400 meters as well. I'm interested to see if Quincy Hall will be in better shape now than he was last week coming off of his first race. So it should be good. I mean, the 200 meters should be fire. Fred Curley's in the race, and he really needs to recommit to just the track and not off the track. Van Niekerk will also be in the 200 meter race, but I expect to see Litaboga run really well. But who knows how fast he'll go? He's testing himself. It should be a good meet. Should be a good meet tomorrow. Yeah. Should be a good meet. Let's see. Appreciate the super sticker there, Wayne. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you so much. Let's see where we're. I guess Brandon is responding to Wayne here. Rockhill is saying Shakar is walking on Jackson all season while she was lined up beside her. Yeah, I think we're getting a little bit. There's nothing to. We can't be overly critical of Shakari. We can up to prior to all the stuff that happened prior to the last couple of years, but with this, the growing pains there, the suspension, all of that is beyond her, right? So she comes back and she wins the world title. You have the world title. What we can't. There's nothing you can say. And she's running and also running well on relays. Last year she didn't win the Olympic title. A lot of people thought she would, but I had gone into the season thinking that no one was going to beat Julian Alfred. That's how I thought about it. But would I have put my house on the line for it? No. I mean, no one would, right? And this season, it's just too early for us to even think about what we can expect. The only athlete so far on the women's side that will make you start to blush a little bit is Alfred, because really well over 300 meters, running a lot of that 21.8 in the 200 as well. Makes you think that she's in great shape. She looked decent today at 22:15 after not competing for a couple of weeks. Ran some decent legs too, I think, in Texas, if my memory serves me correctly. So she's good. And I think they're going after the 1-2, which is not going to be easy. We have to wait to see if Jackson ever gets back to the shape that she should be in. But she has a bye as well, so we'll wait and see. Gabby Thomas is also already running really well over 200 meters. So I think you got to get into a 21.8 shape. Usually 21.8s, and you get into the medal, you won't be off a medal podium. Anything better than that, and you're starting to think about gold medal territory on the 200 meters. Outside of like that ridiculous stuff that Jackson delivers. And we hope she can get back to that kind of shape, but we'll have to wait until the season progresses. So we'll see. Julian already ran Allison. She ran 22:15, quite comfortable. Yeah, really, really easy running. Yeah. Wayne is saying, what do you think Sydney will do in the 110 and 12.6? In the 100-meter hurdles, you mean? 12.6? I don't know. She is that good, so she can run 12. She can run 12.7s already. The only challenge with doing that is they are getting accustomed to the change, right? So even when she moved from just running 100 and not 100 to 400 and the 400-meter hurdles, the stride pattern is somewhat different. But she's very good, Sydney McLaughlin, that is. Sometimes when you look at an athlete like that, the question is, when you're super talented across so many events, which event should you really focus on? I think she's done enough now over 400-meter hurdles to fully put to bed that she's the greatest ever. No, I don't think it's a question. The records are out there. Could she break the 400-meter hurdles world record again? Possibly. I don't think she needs to. It's up there. I think she can. I think a 4.2 athlete would be great for her as well, and she would be pretty competitive over 200. Would she win every time? Probably not. 400 meters, if she set her mind on it, we're looking at an athlete that could push boundaries. So for her to go run this 110, this 100-meter hurdles, I know she likes it. I don't know if it's necessary, but it switches up the slam somewhat. I suspect the Grand Slam folks like it. If the conditions are good in Philadelphia, and they should be, Franklin Field, the way it's structured, if things are good at her, I think she could drop a 12.6, probably 12.7s. She hasn't been running the race consistently, so that's the question. But we'll see. Yeah. What do you think about the young man Walaza? Lots of talent. Saw him last year properly in Peru and all that stuff, and now he's starting the season very well. He's going to World Relays. He's integral part of South Africa's structure. He has a big I don't like how he runs, though. A lot of people would say that. There needs to be work there. He's 19. They probably should spend some time fixing the technique. That bouncing thing just doesn't look good. I think it's impacting his overall ability to be at the level that he should be. But he looked good today. There wasn't any real competition. His first European race as a professional athlete. 994 into a headwind, personal best. Lots of upside for the kid. I think he'll only get better as he develops his body. He's a small lad. His body isn't where it should be because he's growing still, I think, in terms of I don't even know if he's gone to maximum strength yet. So once they do that, and they'll work much more on explosiveness and that kind of stuff. He came out of the blocks pretty good today, but it's hard to compare that with some of the guys that were in the field. Lots of upside. I suspect he should be setting his sights on breaking records that Akini Sambini has. But there's a lot of time to think through that. But I think he will be an athlete that will be around a mainstay. And if he fixes that form, you never know. I don't know how fast he can go, but if he's at 19 running 994, he's gone sub 10 on a number of occasions consistently. He'll be around. Yeah. Raquel said, I don't think Shakari does well in the rain. Yeah. I also answered that already. You're welcome, Allison. When Jackson is coming back from injury, I don't think she will be too ready for the season. Well, I don't know. I think there's time. She did that 300. She ran that 200 meters there in China, Battle 1. And then she went to the World Relays. She didn't do the Shanghai Diamond League. I said this the other day. I don't think Shanieka is injured right now, right? Clearly she's back. There's a couple of things that happens in the cycle of when people are back to full fitness. And part of it is psychological. I'm not saying she's experiencing anything like this. When an athlete comes back from a long-term injury, an injury that stopped the season, an injury that I am sure they took a lot of time before she really got back into training. They didn't rush things. It takes a while, even when you're back to your best medically, before you feel comfortable running. So I'm not sure she'll divulge this or say it. I don't know. Maybe later on in the season when it pans out. But there is a possibility that when she's running now, she's probably thinking, if I push too hard, I may have hamstring issues again. And it takes a while before you can run free. Usually it happens when you have much bigger injuries like, your Achilles rupture or ACL repair or something. It's a long season. She has the bye in the 200 meters. It's quite possible she could be in ridiculous shape in another month or two. So I can't rule anything. I wouldn't rule anything out yet. I think she should be, barring further injury, she should be in good shape come the World Championships. What does good shape look like is a different story. I mean, we shouldn't should we expect what we saw in Budapest or what we saw in Oregon, those 21.4s? Those are some outrageous seasons, right? When she was flirting with the world record, just never got the conditions. I don't know if you will get back that again, but you don't have to be there, to be competitive, to still be in the mix for a title. I think if you can get down to the 21.8s, 21.7s, you're looking at podiums or possible gold medals. Yeah. And then you bring back Keita, Asha Smith must watch out for Great. Oh yeah, Great Britain. They'll be in shape. Great shape. I think Asha Smith this year is gonna give us something nice. She's getting to that time in her career where there's not much. Well, there should be much left, but we'll see. I think this is a good season from her that we'll see. Full season again with Coach Flo, different style. I think it would be good. Where are we? I'm totally not even watching track and field anymore, just responding to comments. No problem with that though. I think Brandon is responding to Rock Hill, so I won't bring that back up. Sure. How you doing, Good afternoon to you to you as well. Yeah. There is the Zagreb Continental tours happening right now. I think 5,000 meters are on the track. Alfred ran already. Walaza ran. Dylan Beard won the 110 over Omar McLeod. There's some field event stuff going on too. I have to go back and check that in a second, but I'm just going. I'll see Papin Boss says, thank you. I think a psychological. Yeah. Elaine also, I think it's all psychological. Yeah. Well, I just hope that I keep sounding like a broken record. I hope Elaine gets to complete the career the way she wants to, meaning she's back to full fitness, she's competitive, and she can go out the way she wants to go out. You don't get to determine that all the time as an athlete, but I think we've missed, as a sport, the globe has missed an athlete that was on top of the world in 2021. And there was I think a 3-year period where we really just, it's not a given that she would have been able to come back to into Paris and do anything, but you thought like leading on from 21 going into 22 to 23 you should have gotten something outrageous, and it wasn't to be. It was partially injuries, partially the disruption in moving around. So I just hope that we'll get something from her, and she'll finish the way she can, right? I'll put that up in a second, Latoya. Van Zyl says Sid can beat others in 100 meter except Nugent hurdles. Nugent in the hurdles. Jones, Russell. Yeah, no one's beaten Tia Jones, Masai, I don't think. Akira as well. I think Sid would be interesting there. I don't know. What's that? 12. I think she can do a 12.6, but we'll see what we'll get there. Latoya wants to know what's the time from Omar. Let me just put up some results from there. There's a final stretch here in the men's 5,000 meters. It's going to be good. It's going to be under 13 seconds here. Keep Coach is coming down right now. He's going to win. No, it's not. It's like 13:03. It's a pretty good run. I honestly, I wasn't following that, so I couldn't tell you. Let me see if I can find it. I'll put those results up for you in a second. That was the 110 hurdles here. So yeah, it was won by Dylan Beard into just a slight tailwind there. 13:20. Beard looked good. Omar came out okay, but he wasn't that good. I think his hurdling technique was bad. He was shifting back. 13:40 for him. And then the rest of those guys aren't high quality right now. And we didn't get Pascal Lagarde didn't even start the race. So 13:20 to 13:40. So yeah. Let me get back to your comments here in a second. Papin Boss, Elaine was it? Oh, you mean 10:54? Objectivities there. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. I think those are once in a lifetime type of seasons. I'm pretty confident that she'll never get back to that. It's hard to get back to those levels. That's probably ceiling levels. The 21.5s, the 10.5s. You can't, but that doesn't mean you can't get back. She can't get back to 10.7s, right? Or I just would love to see her finish the career she won. I mean, it's not even how fast she runs to, it's like how she ran as well, right? It's the kind of gazelle-like style, the elegance when she's in full flow. It's only a few athletes we've seen over time where it's like it's a signature run in a sense. So we'll see. This year we'll see. We'll get to see. I'll just hold on to that type of stuff. Brandon says 10:54 would be hard to replicate. Bolt couldn't better 9:58 at 20. Yeah, I think there's a point where Usain probably could have run a little bit faster. I think even in London, he could have. I don't think he could have gone back 9:5 there, but he could have if he. I think there are some moments there. So that's what I'm saying. Like, we shouldn't look at the time at where you're at your peak, because sometimes when you run your best, it just happens. But we often, it's nostalgic. It's the mystique of going back to those high moments. You don't have to go back to those high moments to find yourself back on a podium or even to win. It's much more competitive now, especially with injuries. The problem is, separate and apart from, and I guess Robert is saying it's the people around her. Even if we take that part out of the calculation and she found herself in the right scenario, because she's been an injury prone athlete for many years, virtually all of her career, right? It starts to get increasingly unlikely that you'll last long in the sport, because niggles, this, that, apart from what it does to the body, it also takes a toll on the mind and the spirit to say, should I continue to do this, right? Look, the kind of career she's had, not many will ever have that, right? She's already legendary status in those levels, back to back over 1 and 2, over 2 consecutive Olympics. It's never been done, right? So on the women's side, and she's and even if you just stick to the 100 meters, we're thinking about Wyoming Tyus, Gayle Devers, Fraser Price, and her. It's a hand with room still to put on another ring. So it's wild, right? There was hope. We remember when she had moved back, when she moved to Osborne for a short period of time, it looked like you could have she was ahead of schedule, then it got derailed again. We just have to wait and see. Time is not a friend of anybody. But if she can come back and just run healthy, we'll just get to see it out, right? Yeah. Yeah. And what are we talking about? What about Jetta? Papine? Uh, you mean Carmelita? Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. What's this on track now? I think this might be. I don't know what's on track now. I've been totally out of the race right now. To count Carmelita among the greatest, what? Nah, come on now. I like Carmelita Jetta. I think she had a stellar career. Now she's a coach, everything. But all-time great, nah. I mean, time-wise, she has a really fast time, but I when I think about the greats, it's not how I think about it. I mean, look, she's elite. What was her PB? 10:64, I believe. Yeah, and she did that in. Yeah, she has medals at the World Championship. You know, I mean, I don't know. I think she's pocket a lot, but I don't know if I could. I don't know where I would put her in that sense. I have to do my top 5 or top 10 again. I don't know if she would crack it. No, yeah, top 5. Nah. Actually, top 5 over. If we just do 100 meters and Fraser Price on top for me, uh, you got Elaine in the mix at some point there. Evelyn Ashford gets into my top 5 at one point. I don't know if it has to change. Gayle, even Gayle back to back at the Olympics, I just can't take that out. And then also World Championship. It's hard to do that stuff. You know, yeah. So it is interesting. Where do you, Jared is asking, do you think Asafa Power is amongst the greats? I mean, he had a stellar career for longevity, broke the world record twice. I don't know, man. It's hard. He hasn't. I think the best I ever saw. If you think, he just never delivered on the biggest stage the way his talent or preparation would have set him up for. You would think. I would still say his best run would have probably been that night in Berlin when he came third behind Usain and Tyson that night. He delivered where you expected him to deliver, but there's moments where he should have delivered and it never happened. Time wise, is there sub 10 statuses around the mix as well, but the big medals are at the World Championships and the Olympics. I think those are the things that stand the test of time, because times can change. There's an evolution in the sport. We think about technology improvements, spikes, track, this, that, sports science improves. So you can mix around that. But when we think about the quality medals, he just doesn't have them individually. So for me, that is a big dent. Oh, it's a good run here, Hovat, from in the 800 meters. 201, not that fast. Yeah. Objectivity. The end of Jetta's career was great. Yeah, I think Jetta was a good athlete. I liked her. She was fierce. She was also very competitive. Look, 2012, a lot of people thought Jetta would have won that 200 meters. Not 200 meters, the 100 meters. And Fraser Price was like, nah, it's not happening, right? That was a classic run. That was a good run there. I think she's up there, I think she had a great career. She'll go back as, I think, one of the Americans' all-time greats for sure. I'd have to rethink my idea of the top five. When I think about great or top five or anything, I think about proximity to the world record as one thing, because you don't have to run a world record. But if you're in there, your times, your consistency, I weigh a lot on the medal count, and showing up when it matters. So she's been there, but I don't know if it's a top five career. I don't think so. Yeah. Probably top 10, but I would have to make a stab at it. And then it's difficult to compare across eras sometime. I feel like it's tough when you think about the era prior to like the clocks and all of that stuff. And, I don't know. Robert says Jetta in top 10, not 5. Yeah, that's I off the top of my head, I'd probably say that, when he's saying, Elaine, I'm so sad to see her injuries. Yes, so to see her suffer from those injuries. Yeah, it's tough. It's commiserations on that. And the thing is, she still has had a stellar career, however it ends. So at the end of the day, it should be fine. Yeah, I agree. Brandon Flojo. Oh my god. I don't know. Flojo had a great 2 years in track and field, or 3 years max in track and field. 88. She had that. She was Rome in 87 too. I don't know, man. Like, I think the time is interesting. I still think the world record is not real. World Athletics had a study on it. The 100-meter world record, that is. It was a hurricane in Indianapolis. It shouldn't have happened. I think our world record that you ran at the Olympics should have been the world record. So, people talk about Flojo from other standpoints. I'm not going to talk about that because I don't have anything to say about that side of it. But on a pure run, I don't think that world record is legit, just based on the win reading thing. So effectively, I would say if we were to take that out of it, it would be the 10:54 from Thompson probably is a legitimate world record, but it will never happen. But there was the wind gauge was going off, the commentary at the time, if you go back to it, there's all these different inquests into it about whether or not we should trust the wind reading that day, and I don't think we could. So whatever she ran in Seoul subsequently should have been the world record. And then then I think it's an injustice on the women's side, because it's very hard to get to that. I don't think you can ever to get to those numbers. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Objectivity 98, 10 sub 10s. Yeah, I think you're talking about Sapphire. Lorraine, how are you? Elaine is more special to me. Olympic medals every 4 years. Some people never win one. Right now, Elaine can win 2 worlds and be the great. Yeah, sprint wise, I mean, over a body of work over 2 events, she's probably the best. I don't know. It's hard to make that claim without people arguing. But yeah, if she were to clap some world championships, look, she was on course to be. That's why I think like the years from 21 to now are the most difficult ones, because by the time she gets back at 21, they figured it out. And you imagine if the bust up never happened, going into Eugene, then Budapest, because the calendar was kind in terms of the back years. And then who knows what it would have been outrageous. The Olympic medals are the biggest in the sport, then the world championships. And if athletes can clock those, you pull some world records here or some super fast times that's close to that, or consistently fast times. Because sometimes an athlete can pick up a big fast time on the circuit, but they never get back to it, or they're not close. And in a time capsule or a snapshot, people just look at that and they don't remember anything else. But yeah, her career is like next level anyway. I mean, I think if she never ran again, it would be okay, right? I don't think the inquest is on the career, at least not from me. I hope I'm not saying that way, right? I think what she's accomplished is outrageous. You go back to that 200 meters in the world championships behind the Dutch athlete there. Oh my God, her name, Daphne Skippers. And it was like, whoa, 21.62 people are running there. And then she flies into the next Olympics and just destroy things. And you just thought it was going to be like that. Then there's the down years with the injuries, and we're not feeling well in one final in, what was it, 17 or 19? I can't remember now. And then, for a while you think she would never come back, and she came back, and then stuff happens. So it's one of those things. Papimba, Safa was a little, you're not easy. Allison, yeah, I think track, for me, Allison is probably still on record. If we were to think about the 200, an athlete over just 200 meters alone, in terms of stacking up the medal count, probably Allison, then VCB. Probably, I don't know. And the funny thing is, like, Allison's numbers aren't that fast, right? So that's the thing. What she has, like a 21.7 or something like that. I can't remember now. But VCB up there for me as probably 1-2 over, if we just isolate the 200 meter as a thing. I don't know, but I'm just going off of that. Lorraine, for me, 101 Shelley, 2 Elaine, 3 Flojo, 200 meter Sharika, Elaine, VCB. I mean, Allison has to be in the 200 meter conversation, though. I just don't see how we don't get that up there. Yeah. But Puppy and Flojo, Shelley, Merlin is up there too. Yeah, you see, that's the problem with this. We'll never get to an answer to any of these questions. Objective based on the win. I have to look at your things before I put them up here. And you're just giving trouble right now. Objectivity. Of course, I don't think there's a question about that. I mean, Yeah, Bolt never failed a test. There is nothing. I mean, I know you cannot fail a test and still have issues, but yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh, you guys are joking on the thing. Uh, Lauren, the only thing eluding Allison is the Olympic medals. Yeah, but she did get the 200 in London. I think for a while that was the interesting thing. And yeah, but there's those, she was young in Athens, right behind VCB. Although VCB wasn't much older then, but she was more mature by then. And then she comes back, and a lot of people didn't think she could have won in Beijing, and she gets it back to back. That's also an elite club too. And then in those years, Allison used to dominate the world championship. So it was an interesting rivalry then. Yeah, yeah. I guess. I mean, I don't know. I mean, the problem. Here's the thing I'll say about anti-doping. We've it's much better than it was 5 years ago. It's much better than it was 15, 20 years ago. It's still challenging to really know for sure. Most doping still occurs outside of competition. But we've seen a lot more, it's much more stringent. A lot of athletes will try to flirt uh, with whereabouts violations. A lot of people got in trouble for that. We know there could be networks and structures around this. But I think we're in a much better place. Can we ever get to a point where no one is cheating in the sport? I don't think so. It's trouble. That's the troublesome part of it. And people get desperate from time to time and they'll do things. And sometimes with the right chemistry or right chemists around you, there is the possibility that you can be ahead of the anti-dopers, of doping control rather. Now, here's the thing. We've improved tremendously when it's come to distance running. I think the biological passport there has done wonders for the blood markers, the EPO stuff. There is some challenges to that too. The challenge with EPO too is because it's naturally produced in the body too. You can make mistakes like what happened to Peter Boyle, which was a travesty from the Australian lab, which is a WADA-approved lab that should never have happened. Well, we can track more. Athletics Integrity Unit has now come up with a sprint passport. They're going to try to trial that. It's much harder to do markers on athletes who are in the sprint. So, long story short, is that they're moving to a point where we believe that we can do better to catch athletes. We've also put structures in, as when by we were talking the sport in general, the 10-year kind of moratorium on your record. So we can go back and test if you've done stuff, and we reapportion medals and take away records and so on. You would like to catch people in the act, so we don't have to award medals to the wrong people. But we tend to look at the negative side of stuff, but I think there's a lot of great work been done over the years. It's still problematic because there's the political nature involved. So the questions about state intervention into doping programs, those are hard to catch. Those require whistleblower efforts from time to time. I am also not happy when we see like laboratories being shut down. So right now, I think in the continent of Africa, there's no approved WADA lab. They just basically took away the only one there recently. So that's not good for doping control and for the integrity of the sport. But I think we've improved. And so you hope that, and also there's been improvement too in terms of even the United States with the Rodchenkov Act. So now you can go after the people supplying the drugs, the masseurs, the doctors, the coaching staff. That We saw this under the Eric Lear case. I suspect it's going to play its way out too in the Gerald Feary case. We just don't know yet. So those are some improvements on that angle that will try to keep the sport in an interesting way. In a clean way, rather. That won't stop people from doing things that are contrary to the rules of clean sport. But I hope when it happens, we catch them quickly and we move on. So let me get back to your comments here. I don't know where I left off now. Objectivity. Allison was just talented. Objective said Noah isn't doing any times that would make anyone suspicious. I agree. I think I don't think there's anything to think about it. There's nothing that strikes me as like odd with that. And most decorated, versatile athlete. I think that's in Shamar is saying that in response, I believe, to Allison Felix. Robert is saying Victor Conti did a lot to damage the sport. Yeah, the Conti case, Balco, really interesting thing to clear. Problem with that was no one ever got tested positive because of how they did it. Required testimony, required FBI intervention. Marion Jones went down, a bunch of people, Tim, lots of people. Those are not good. So that's why I'm saying, I worry. This is where you should worry if there's intervention from big money and labs that can run this. I suspect you worry less on that part. You worry when you come to the point, and that's Gudaf Tsegay here on the track. Worry when it comes more to the intervention of the state. So if the countries are getting involved in a sophisticated network, that's a problem. And we can name those countries, but I don't have to. I don't want to go through that now. Noah could open his 100 today and possibly run tens. Yeah, hopefully. Last week he didn't run because of the he didn't run in Atlanta because of the ankle injury. Damari says Shanieka ain't even top 5 for me in 200. Just 2 world goals isn't enough, and I don't take in times. Okay, yeah. So if your record, if you don't involve times, then I can get it. Yeah. I'm not sure she's in the top 5 yet. I don't think so either. But I think she's on her way there, though. Yeah. Jared, what do you think Toboga could potentially run in 100 and 200 in career? I don't know about 100 meters. If I've been saying this for a few years, I know why it's happening. I would love to see Letsili Toboga do 200, 400 meters. It probably won't happen because everybody is the blue ribbon event in the sport is the 100 meters. He's good at it. So I anticipate they'll stick with that. 200 meter wise, I think he can get down into the 19.3s. I think it's certainly possible. Beyond that, I'm not sure. He's not quick enough yet. Can he get quicker? It's possible. I think he needs to get quicker if he's going to get beyond that. But I think there's a 19.3s there. I think he can push up onto the Michael Johnson times, to the Noah Lyles times. Beyond that, I don't know. I'm not seeing it yet. But I think it's a guy that could run a 43.8, 43 mid, or even much faster than that if he puts his mind to it. 100 meters, still a lot of technical issues there. I don't know, right? Maybe a 9.7 at his best, 9.7 something there, but I don't know. Just based on what we're seeing, he's still very young. I'm just guessing around here. I think his better event will be the 200 for sure. 400 meters should be in his future, but he probably won't do that. Objectivity is responding. Stupidity, bad luck, Shanieka. Yeah, I think whatever happened in Tokyo, I still don't understand that. And then obviously last year was just tough, and you can't legislate for that. Yeah. Let me just look at his 1500 meters here. There's Tsegay, Hylam in the lead. I think they're gonna go on last lap right now. 228 here. I don't know how far they're going. This could be at 350. I'm suspecting this could be like 355, 56. This is gonna getting up to the bell now. They'll get up to the bell that Hylam is taking the lead right now. Tsegay in second. They're like 254, 255. So if they start to kick, we could get something fast. But but Tsegay doesn't look like she's moving. Yeah. Yeah, she's struggling, it looks like. Hylam is in the lead. They're not moving quick enough. They're on a backstretch at 321. I don't know if it's going to be fast. But Gudaf Tsegay is making some step now. I don't know if they can get the meeting record. But Gudaf Tsegay now comes around the corner on the last bend here ahead of Berkey Hylam. And let's see what's in the tank. She's stepping. Can Hylam come back? No, I think Tsegay is going to take this comfortably. It's going to be like 57, 58. Yeah, 358.16. Not a great run from Gudaf Tsegay here by her standards. But, that's not fast from her levels. But yeah. Let me get back to some of these comments here. Gerard is asking, what's your opinion on people showboating before the finish line? It depends on how you do it. It's always good TV, good entertainment. It depends on how it's done. I think, let's see, Teboga likes to do that. Last week, I wasn't quite sure I liked how he did it in that 200 meters when he looked across in Doha. Was it Doha? But I don't know. It depends, as long as you don't get into other people's face, it's fine. I don't know. Jared, rather. I think Teboga could run 42. I don't know about that. I'm not sure about it. 42 is up there. I don't know if he's strong enough to do that, but I don't know. I think Wade could have gone 42 for sure if he didn't have injuries, but I don't know. How long do you think the 958 will last, rather? I don't know. My lifetime. I'm not sure. It depends. It depends on if we take talent or ability out of the question. It depends on what happens on sports science. If the spikes are much better than even when the last generation were running. People are complaining about that. If there's changes in that, if the track technology continues to improve, I don't think there's a lot more left in track technology to improve. The companies like to tell you that. Mondo in particular like to say they're very close to giving you back 100% energy return, which is not possible. You cannot get back 100% energy return when you pound. But I don't know. I'm not seeing anybody capable right now of getting anywhere close to those times. So probably the person to break that record is not born. The 958 I don't think can be touched at all. Not anytime. There's nobody I think around that is even capable of doing that. People are struggling to go sub 9.8 right now. So I don't think that record is in question at all. I plan on watching Grand Slam. Well, okay. I don't know if I'll do a watch along for that. I'll see. Grand Slam track was always too slow for me, but I'll probably do it. Let's see. Van Zyl, Teboga can go past the times of Lyles in 200. I guess you're saying 9.88 for for the 100 meters, you mean, and sub 44. Yeah, I think Let's Sealy can do. I think he can do 43 and change for sure. How much lower depends on if he commits. He has to commit to running the 400 meters. I don't think he's quick enough over 100 meters or speed wise. That doesn't mean you can't get more speed. So it's just like, do you go for speed or not? I don't think he's quick enough to go beyond 19 threes right now. I think he can get up to 19.3, but to go beyond that, you have to be ultra quick. And I don't think he's that type of guy. But he's still very young, so we'll have to wait and see. I would love to see him do 2.4, but the sport demands a 100-meter space. Everybody wants to be in that space. So I don't anticipate anytime soon him doing a 2.4 as a career thing. He'll run 400 meters because it's a competitive Botswana team and he'll be in the mix there. So he'll play a role on that. Objectivity 9.58 will not be broken by anyone we're currently. Yeah, I think so. I don't think the 9.58 is in question. Not a chance. Not with current standards and not a chance. Yeah. Yeah, I figured you meant 9.98 for Tobago, Ferdinand. How long will 1919 last? I don't know. I mean, I think that's a softer of the two boat records, if you want to call any record soft. I also don't think there's anyone capable of breaking it yet. I don't know. Let's see. Maybe let's see when Goat becomes a grown man. We'll see. I don't know. I don't think Noah can get back to those times, and I don't think Noah can get back to the 19.3 times if he doubles. I think no one should look at those records. You should only look at those records and just look for aspiration. But yeah, just stop. We should stop thinking about the boat records. It's just not a thing, right? You know, they're outrageous out there and they're hard. They're very hard. And they're hard in the way they were made as well. They're made, you know, especially in 1919. That's after 6 rounds. It's ridiculous. So I don't think that's something that the athletes should look at. They should just try to stack up medals if the times come. The times come. What? I don't know. I'm anticipating a sub 4-minute mile for women this year. I think there's going to be a project to get in Paris to get Faith Kipiegan to do that. They'll probably have to try the drafting technique and all that stuff to see if it will work, but who knows? Who knows? Yeah. Objectively, switching gears a bit, no problem. Do you think Tia or Tina both can run 10.7s? I think we'll get, I don't know. I think you'll get 10.7 out of one of them. I don't know. Both? Who knows? I don't know. Whatever Stephen Francis wants to do. I think they're young still, right? What are they, 20? Possibly. Yeah. Technique-wise, they're improving. There's still ways to go. The body type is changing too. They're adapting. So I would love to see it. If both of them ran 10.7s, then I think our entire country would be happy. But we'll see. I don't know. I think they'll be quick. I think they'll be quick. At least one for sure. But I guess the conditions have to be right too. But I don't think it's out of realm of possibility. I think one of them will run 10.7. Jared, do you think Noel will run 9.6 in his career? No, I don't think so. I don't think he's that quick. I don't think he can run that fast. There's no sign of that yet. He's improved tremendously over the first part of his race. but you'd have to do a lot more improvement to even get up to that. Unless it's like on a warm night in Monaco or Paris and the conditions are super fast, perfect weather, perfect wind. I don't know. I mean, but I don't think we should predict. He shouldn't think about times like that, right? He shouldn't think times like that. I think what he's trying to do is to go back and win, right? However he wins it is however it happens. 9-6 is ridiculous running, Jared. It's only a few guys have done that. You know, Tyson, and we know how that ended. Johan Blake and the great man, right? So it's not a category where you just like jump up and do, you know? Yeah. If they do, hopefully it is in 2028 at the Olympics. Ah, you mean like, yeah, that too. I mean, yeah, they have a lot of time on their hand. If they're young, they'll develop. Sometimes athletes have the ability to run really fast early, but their body not ready for consistently fast times. And so you have to build them up to do that so they can have a career that's there as opposed to, you know, bright sparks here and there. Best, Damari is saying best 4x1 if they're all healthy practice is Sharika to Shelly, Brianna to Elaine. I'll probably start with Shelly to Sharika. Nah, I don't know. I think the Clayton twin, one of those twins might have something to say. Yeah, but we'll see. Objective is like Noah may never a 9-7 again. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not sure what you meant there, Bericat. And anyway, cool. All right, guys, it's been good hanging out for this evening. There's some probably other track and field stuff going on. I'll try to check that out at some point. Tomorrow is a Rabbat isn't Rabbat or Marrakesh? The Diamond League in Morocco. It should be good. It's going to be a lot of great athletes on show. Depending on what happens, I'll do a watch along tomorrow. If not, we'll be back tomorrow evening to do a live, to do just a recap for the week. You guys enjoy the rest of your Saturday, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.